I was in I joined Symmetric, that is a very small organization, and from there I was deputed to work in Defense Avionics Research Establishment, that is DARE, and that is a part of DRDO. So I worked there on fighter aircraft for almost 2 years, and then moved to Honeywell in 2008. So in Honeywell, I worked on Airbus, Boeing, BGA, Business General Aviation, all those helicopters. So all commercial aircraft and helicopters as well. So that on 6 years there as a technical role, and then I moved to project management in software COE, that is Software Center of Excellence. I manage safety critical projects right from kickoff till certification, and there were a lot of challenges, but yeah,
Yeah.
I was successfully able to manage those things.
So Shamsuza, I think there was some network glitch as well, due to which the live started a little later. So I want to again give a little introduction to the audience, right, so that they know what are we going to talk about on this show today. So audience, yes, welcome to Dream Career Talk Show. We are on episode number 35 of Dream Career Talk Show. Dream Career Talk Show is about building your dream career, which is much beyond getting a job. Here on this show, we are going to have industry experts who are going to come from various domains, sharing their knowledge, their learnings, their experiences, their challenges, failures, and success, so that it can help others to build their careers. And this show is to help corporate professionals expand their context, get clarity, direction, hope, inspiration, and the right steps to build their dream career. Today's topic is project engineering in aerospace. What is the role of a project engineer in aerospace? How is it different than IT project management? How are the projects managed in the aerospace industry? What are the challenges faced by project managers? To understand more about this, we have our today's guest, Muhammad Shamsuzzoha, who comes with 14 plus years of experience working on fighter aircrafts and commercial aircrafts. Shamsuzzoha comes with around 15 years of experience, in which he has spent around 6 plus years as a software engineer working on Airbus and Boeing, and more than 6 years in project engineering. Today, Shamsuza works as a program manager at Cisco on the hardware products like hardware, routers, switches. He loves doing automation, and he has done multiple automations to make work simple and faster. So, Shamsuza, once again, welcome to Dream Career Talk Show, and let's hear about your journey from the beginning, please.
Thank you so much, Fatah Khan, for inviting me to this talk show. Indeed, it is a very good, and I love. Thank you so much for inviting. Yeah, so in short, I'll tell you about my journey, how it started. Initially, I started after college. I just went to HCL as a network engineer. From there, I moved. I was in Hyderabad, and from there moved to Bangalore. Bangalore, I joined a very small company, Symmetric, and from there I was deputed to work in DRDO labs, one of the lab called Defense Avionics Research Establishment. There, I was working there on fighter aircraft, basically on LCA, light combat aircraft on engines. After that, from there, I moved on to Honeywell. In Honeywell, I worked on Airbus, Boeing in technical for 6 years, and then moved on to management in the Software Center of Excellence, managed safety critical projects right from kickoff till certification. After that, I moved to, I'm working as a program manager in Cisco. So, yeah, in short, that's my introduction.
Great, but was it by chance? Like, what is your graduation, or what is the degree that you hold?
Okay, so I have done a Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Communication,
Hmm.
and from there, so it, as I worked in HCL network engineer, but I my main focus was to go in job as a software engineer. I mean, I just made up my mind. Okay, I have done B engineering. Why should I do network engineering? Network means network in the sense what I was not doing an engineer job there. That was like installation of routers and servers, all those things. It was not Cisco, but other routers and switches. So in other offices, I used to go and install. But then I got the thought, oh man, I worked, studied engineering. Why can't I do software engineering? I mean, that was boom, 2004, 2005 time frame. So my thought process, and I wanted to be in software engineering. So I made up my mind, and then I thought, okay, let me search where I can go and in which industry. So I started searching. Uh, Faced a lot of problem, lot of interviews I gave, but I was not successful. But eventually, I landed up in small company, Symmetric. From there, when I moved to aerospace, from there the aerospace journey started. I moved to DRDO. There I learned, worked on the LCA, light combat aircraft. Now that gave me a platform to work on aerospace, because that was there. Then from there, I wanted to join Honeywell. I mean, that was my dream company. I targeted Honeywell that I want to join, but then it was not so easy. Then I started preparing. I mean, that is, preparation is the key. I started preparing. I used to prepare after coming from office. I used to prepare night 1 o'clock till 1 o'clock. I used to prepare about what are the products working on. Honeywell is working on that. What they actually need, those things. And once I went for interview, they asked me some of the questions which I already worked in there, and I was able to qualify. So that is the journey I've made. So I was very much focused. Like once I worked on LCA, and I wanted to be in aerospace domains. That was the thing. Yeah.
And what was your role initially as a software engineer in this aerospace domain? What were you doing
Yeah.
initially?
Oh, okay, okay. So I joined as a software engineer there in Honeywell. I mean, even though in there also, Defense Savings Research Establishment, that was software engineer. So what I did there is that was a LCA, and in LCA also engine, Kaveri engine. I was working on that. So my role there was to develop a tool through which we can test that software, that engine software we can test, and even also test it. So I developed a tool, and then that tool, what it used to do is it used to inject my test inputs to that Kadaku, that is called as Kaveri Digital Engine Control Unit, inject that unit. But when I was developing the tool, I faced lot of problem. So one problem was like it was not like corporate here in Honeywell or Cisco, where directly you'll get access to internet. No, in defense, you they didn't allow us having this internet access. So all the coding and all I used to do was my own. I used to do that, test it, fail. I failed a lot of times there. So after around 20 days or 21 days, my boss told, okay, let's do in a different way. Put that in the header file and close it out. But I was not happy. Like, no, 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 this is not the design should work. I mean, it should be a robust design. But because my manager said, I did that, but I kept trying. I kept trying. After coming from office, I used to try in home that why that is not working. And the day I got that, after around 20 21 days, after that again, because I gave that one solution, what my boss told, that was a simple solution, put it in the header file and close it out. I gave that solution to make it happy, but I kept working on that. No, that is not the design. So after 21 days, I got the input. I was very happy getting that input. I cannot express that happiness, because there came to know, never give up. Never give up. I've learned that day, because if I would have given up that day when my boss told, okay, put it in the header file and close it, I would have given up and closed the chapter. But the design was not good. I kept trying and tried for 21 more days, and I got the input. And there I learned, okay, never give up. And I succeeded there. That was a very good lesson for me, and I continued there. A lot of other things, I never give up. That was there stuck in my mind, and that helped me to grow. That helped me to grow in my career, because in not only in there in Symmetric Order, there I worked there. After moving to Honeywell also, I did a lot of automation. And I faced a lot of problem, and that thing which I learned there, that never give up, it helped me to keep going and keep getting the results and all.
Great. And one thing I think you said here was you did not have access to internet because you were in the working
Yeah.
on the defense project. And I believe one of the biggest asset for any software engineer is that internet, because when you are coding, right, without internet, with internet you get a lot of ideas. You can search for code and then you modify and all of that.
Right.
So without internet, like you were doing it on your own, and you said it helped you in terms of building that kind of right mindset. And what are the other challenges you face when you are working on this kind of setup?
Okay, so there when I was working, the other things what I faced problem is, see, like in defense, when we work in that government organization, it is not like you call by name. You have to call by sir. Even the director, I was interacting with the director there. I used to call sir, sir. I mean, and the problem was 4:30, 5 o'clock they used to leave, because I was from Symmetric, different private organization. As a contractor, I was working there. So I was working late night there. I mean, 7 o'clock was the last day, 7 to 7:30. So problem what I was getting is I was not getting help. required help, because the person I was reporting, he was scientist D, and he became a scientist after that. He was at higher level there, and then I was reporting thing. In order to resolve those queries, and also there was like I was working on MATLAB as well. So I was not having a right person who used to help me if I get any problem. Who was there to solve me? No one was there to solve the problem. I was the only person, developer, tester, and under me also one person was there. She was working there, and I was having one more person in another organization, ADA, Aeronautical Development Agency. I will look into them as well. So I was the only person. I was not getting any help. I was just trying. That's why I took a lot of time to do that. So challenge was not getting any help. Internet was not there, and in order to proceed, no, we need to have the design and all correct. So that design decisions were not proper. Okay, some lighting problem. So the design decisions I only made myself and do it. So the review process, that is very important, because if we have review and get the feedback, we will be able to have that robust design and all. So a lot of challenges. Yeah, these were the simple ones.
But what kind of lessons do you learn from there through that challenges?
Yeah, so challenge. I'm just trying to. So challenges were there, like we need to. One thing is, when we start something new, we will face problem, and when we face problem, we should not give up. We will get results if we try. The other challenge was that no one was there for me. It was a blank. They gave me one SRS document, and then they said that these are the requirements, this is the engine document, it need to be tested. But I was blank. What else I have to do? What are the that was SRS high level document. What are the low level requirements? What I have to do? What and the plan, detailed planning was not there. Whom I have to send out for review? Is it only my scientist F or two director? I mean, there were a lot of challenges. So there was a not total team built up. It was only myself and one more person. We both were trying to do all those things required, and then so resource challenge was there. Resource in the sense, what are the tools required to get it done? What are the compilers so that I develop all those things? So all those were new. I figured it out, did it, took more time, but did that out. So internet was not there. That's why I was trying this trial and error method.
Hmm. But were you excited because it was like aerospace industry? You could meet some scientists there. Plus, you were also like working on Boeing's and all of that. Did that job excite you?
Yeah, very much, because this aerospace was totally new to me. I mean, though I was from electronics background, entering into aerospace, what are the dynamics? How aircraft means, if we throw a pin, it drops down, right? It doesn't go. But aeroplane, taking all these passengers and all flies, what are the dynamics? How it flies and all? I came to know there. I was very excited to know that aircraft. I mean, even I was on that fighter aircraft there. Means how it goes into the enemy zone, how it fights, what is how fast it goes, what are the weapons it takes, how it drops those weapons on the target and all, and it reaches the target, hits the target and all. It was, I mean, I was very much happy and excited to learn those things, apart from doing my job. So after that, when I targeted Honeywell, I moved to Honeywell on the commercial aircraft. There also I learned a lot of things. So it was very exciting and learned a lot of things. Even when we do those things, when we make our hands dirty, then we know, oh, these are the other things which helps aircrafts to fly.
Right. And you were in as a software engineer for about 6 years, right? And
Yes.
you were working more on the technology side of things.
Yeah.
Right? And that helped you, like, which particular parts of the in the aerospace industry were you working for? Like you said, you worked on the Boeings and you also
Mm,
worked on the
yeah.
commercial flights and all of this. Like, what was the major contribution from your side as a developer in this particular area?
Okay, so when I was working in Honeywell, it was on a flight management system. So it is like a FMS. When pilot sits in front of pilot, there are some displays, right? So that display we used to develop and test. So I was as a tester there, VNV, verification validation. All the requirements we used to get, baseline requirements, we used to write and develop the test cases, test procedure, and then test it. I mean, I used to enjoy those because I used to fly the aircraft. We have very big labs there. I used to fly aircraft like to 35,000 feet and then free fall from there. I mean, I used to do all sorts of like
In the lab, virtually, you're
video.
talking about, right?
Yeah, virtual. So we had very big
Okay.
labs. Yeah, labs, in labs we had that simulator and all. So we sit like a pilot. We have all the joystick and all to fly, take off, go to the 35,000 feet, and then from there, uh, I used to actually go to the 35,000 feet free fall, just to find out the bugs and all, switch off the engines
Interesting.
and all. Yeah. So like video games, I used to play like anything. After writing and all, after writing all the procedures and test cases, after that, I used to do all those robust testing and all, everything, fly like anything from here to Mumbai. All this we have. I mean, basically, this FMS. What is that? Is we give a flight plan. We used to make, like, we have roads here on in airspace. Also, we have for aeroplane and all. We have dedicated routes. So when the flight plan is published throughout the world, that route is published. That this is blocked for this time to this time at this altitude. This aircraft is going to fly. When a flight plan changes, then the other things again, everything gets routed. But my job as a software engineer was to develop the test procedures and execute the flight plan, execute the test procedures and all, and find out the bugs. That was till 6 years of time frame in verification and validation.
Oh, and I'm sure like you have loved it because the way you are telling your happiness, the excitement is showing here. The way you flew those flights as
Yeah,
if they were the real ones, right? The
that's correct.
kind
That's
of
correct.
fun you have had there.
A
And
lot of things. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not only that. So when we fly, no, as a pilot, say, because we get to know in and out of when as a FMS. FMS is like flight management system. It interacts with all. Like we have lateral guidance, vertical guidance, performance, a lot of other interaction of all the functional areas. And when we fly up, I mean, when we fly to some altitude, we fly with a very high thrust so that we reach to one altitude, and then from there crossover altitude we go to 35,000 feet, and then the aircraft flies in a flight level like cruise speed. So after that also we used to do a lot of things, because nowadays now new things are coming up, RNP, required navigation performance and all. Because after some time you'll see, like, and like in bus or car we see, no, side there will be other bus cars going like that. After a few days we'll be able to see, okay, nearby one more flight is going, other flight this way, that way. So that require RNP will help us the aircraft to fly very near. Nowadays it is flying a bit far off, but down the line it will be that. And autopilot, once you do keep the aircraft in autopilot, automatically it will take off, go to the dedicated height, fly, land, everything will be automatic, autopilot. Because the visibility, like in Delhi and all, visibility problems and everything is resolved because of this autopilot and all.
Wow, and you have understood the aerospace industry very well here, and we have Colonel Tyagveer ji who is there with us, who is watching us, and he has shared like great Shamsuzza as an ex-serviceman can understand your compulsions under which you worked in DRDO for an important project like LCA. Hats off,
Thank you.
you perfected the design to your satisfaction. I think
Thank
this
you.
is
I
a
mean,
good comment.
it is like whenever I board any aircraft, no, like I worked on A350, A320, all the Airbus platforms like A320, A350, A380, all the flavors of Airbus. Whenever I fly, I feel happy when I see that FMS in front of pilot.
Great. And what kind of real challenges did you have in terms of when it came to the platform or the systems that you were talking about? What are the main challenges that when you are working as a software engineer in that particular domain? One is you don't have access to internet, as you rightly said, right? The other challenges, any other challenges you had?
Yeah, because I was working as a contractor, I was not having all the access, full access. Like apart from this, we'll have other accesses like okay, that is on government organization. Because of that, I was not getting. But let's move on to Honeywell. Honeywell, what all technical challenges? I think you mean chat technical challenges, right? During work, what technical challenges I was facing?
Yeah, any technical, non-technical, you can share any of those challenges.
Okay,
Because
okay.
as a
So
project engineer or a software developer, it can help others, right, understand this role better so that others can actually make use
yeah,
of that experience and learnings. Yeah, go ahead.
sure. Sure. So the all the functionalities of flight management system, no, all are important. But what plays major is when we enter a flight plan, we enter the entry origin, destination, cruise interface, like how fast it will go, at what altitude it will go. All those are the important factors to enter. So when I was testing, I used to enter the performance values. Now when we enter the performance value, the requirement of performance, like there are different functional areas, like lateral guidance, vertical guidance, and performance is also one functional area. So when I used to test this functional performance areas, like what will be the engine performance when we give full thrust at this height, or if we switch off one engine, what will be the performance and all. So when I was testing these things, there were a lot of challenges. The computations were, so many computations were there. So in order to test those computations, it used to take a lot of time. I'm telling you about this. This was around 2008-9 time frame till 2014. Now after 2014, I mean, these were the challenges. But after that, what happened is we brought in a lot of automation, because we used to face lot of time. Say suppose one requirement at what, if we fly at 35,000 feet with this fuel, with this altitude, and with this CI, cruise interface CI, cost index, at what speed it will go, what will be the performance of the engine, what will be the performance of the. So we used to compute a lot of computations at so we used to spend, for one requirement we used to spend around 2-3 hours to test it. Now down the line, after 4-5 years, we reduced that. That means we were having around a 40 members team, reduced to 6 7 10 members team. Why? Because of automation. We did a lot of automation because of these challenges. Not only that, we automated a lot of other functional areas, flight plan, lateral guidance, vertical guidance, we automated. So whatever challenges we got, we try to see like how we can. We were facing a lot of time. We were actually taking a lot of time. So we try to see what we can do, automate it, so that we can say now we can do. So previously it used to take 4-5 hours. Now we can run hundred thousands of test cases automatically, no manual intervention. So those sort of things, automation, a lot of automation we have done in technical side. Yeah.
Great, that's amazing. And can you talk about one maybe like simple automation that was done that actually helped, right? You spoke about some of the automations. Maybe can we pick up some example of how you automated certain thing? Right? Maybe one aspect would help here.
Okay, so I'll take about performance. Um, so performance software, we were supposed to test. It used to take more time. So what we did is, I'm good at Excel sheet. So what? Um, Okay, so before moving to that, I moved to performance area. When I started doing this automation for performance, I was into project management. Again, moved to technical, uh, just to change these things, a lot of things, because I was in Honeywell itself. So I moved to different teams and came back to this. So I was good at Excel sheet. So I came to know that these are the calculations happening. So I took that raw data from one tool called, there are proprietary tools from Honeywell. So that tool, I took the inputs, populated in my Excel sheet. So and then from there I did all the calculations in Excel sheet, and just the input, like as a requirement, if I give a requirement of flight plan of Delhi to origin of Delhi and destination as Bangalore, and cruise into CI as cost index as 90, and flight level, cruise flight level as 35,000, what will be the performance, how fast it will reach, what will be the ETA for destination time Bangalore. So those things, that was one small example, to calculate the time, how much time it will take. So that within fraction of time I was to get that input, instead of calculating all those things. That was simple thing done. But my team, they did automation for flight plan as well. Like we used to give the inputs. They use some other software that is also proprietary for Honeywell. I'm not revealing those, because those are
Yeah.
proprietary. So those automation, what they did is, once they give the flight plan inputs, what are the attributes, other attributes, we used to get it in a script. That was a script written. So we run one script and we used to get the output in another script. And pass fail also used to come. So all those reports automatically used to come, all the report, how many test pass, how many test fail. And so generation of report also was quicker. So
Yeah.
automation was done in script. There was one language was there, different scripting language, and then the other automation of ops was done using Excel sheet.
Okay. Great. And we know that it's not like any other software tool or product when we are talking about the aerospace industry, especially, right? What is the scope of error here? right? I know in others we do a lot of testing, we miss out lot of checks, and then software engineering, it's a very common thing. You do testing and you miss a lot of things, again you do testing. What is the scope of error in this particular industry?
Okay, so here in aerospace, basically the failure conditions, like we have like catastrophic. It is divided into different. We have catastrophic, design assurance level A, then hazardous design assurance level B, like that we have major, minor. So four, it is divided into four categories. Now our projects are divided into, like, whether it is a level A software or level B software, based on the hazardous conditions. Okay, now if it is a level A software, level A and B software, we have to do MCDC condition, like modified condition. So it is like we used to do code coverage, statement coverage. So we have written code, right? We used to do code coverage, like statement wise coverage, whether everything it is covered or not. And we also used to do the object level coverage. It's not only code, because it is a very critical software. Say, think of anything happen catastrophic, there will be loss of life, loss of money, loss of everything. So in order to have that, the level A software, level A and B software, we used to have a code coverage, I mean line by line code coverage. And not only that, once we develop the code, we get object. It is not in a readable format, but still we used to do the object oriented coverage, object level coverage as well. So that was the thing we used to do in order to remove. And one more thing was, like, in the code, if, say, suppose there is a dead code means it is a dead, right? There is no link between anything. If it gets executed, what will happen? So we used to find out. Based on this, we used to run static analyzer tool, other tools, dynamic analyzer tools were there. We used to find out if, well, are there any dead codes or protective codes. So we used to find those things. So error checking, we used to do a lot of things based on the coverage of the code. If there are and we used to see whether there is a requirement or not. If there is no requirement, there are a lot of other checks going on, whether that is a proactive code, protective code, in the sense, like, say, suppose it is for Boeing, because we used to write one code, and it used to be used for other aircrafts and flavors, like A320 other. So now, when if A320 one code is written, is it applicable for A340 as well? Now for A340, it will be a protective code, because it can be enabled on this aircraft, not enabled on other. So those checks and balance. And then if we move to another aircraft, some of the codes will not be valid for that aircraft, right? So if there is a dead code and all those analysis checks used to do, we used a lot of tools like static analyzer, lot of analyzer, and lot of proprietary tools we used to find out these sort of things. That is one thing. The other thing was the robust this one review process. Review process was very robust. I mean, we used to have uh, expert review. I mean, two reviewers were very mandatory, one expert and one more for other. We were also including the PDQ, that is a quality check. People from quality team, we used to include certification team, and we used to include safety team. So all the groups, there were a lot of checks and balance in order to overcome this all these defects or any leakages in this.
Yeah. I know you in the beginning you said this was very exciting when you used to like fly virtually and all of that. But was it at times scary as well? Like, what was the kind of pressure you had? Because here you make one single mistake and you said you don't have
Yeah,
the chance for doing many errors here. Was it scary? Was there pressure that you could feel at times? How was that experience? Do you want to share that?
yeah. So when I moved from government organization to this Honeywell private organization, what changed? There are a lot of changes with the process. In Honeywell, we have a lot of everything goes as per process, and that is good. I'll tell you why. Because if you follow the process, making mistake occurrence will be less. But there, I found the process was not so good. Now here, milestones were very stringent. I mean, if there is a milestone, we have to meet it. Otherwise, there will be a penalty to pay. So milestones also, we have like category of milestone, whether it is a customer delivery or it is a category. So the milestones were cat 1, category 1, cat 2, cat 3 milestones, all were linked. And there were subsequent effect used to happen. If we miss cat 3 milestone, there is a probability of missing cat 2 and cat 1. Cat 1 used to be a customer milestone. So the pressure is like milestones used to be set, The goals used to be set, and we have to meet that milestone. The problem used to come when issue comes up, and there were cross teams, cross collaboration team used to happen. Like if we are doing something, it goes to development team. If they are not able to fix it on time, we are not able to again test it on time, and then again, if there are some hardware problems and all. So there were a lot of challenges. Based on that, there was some time when we were not able to meet the date given to us. So that's why what Honeywell used to do is, based on our experience and all, we used to set also cat 4 milestones, internal milestones. So if at all we miss these milestones, we have some buffer of 1 or 2 weeks so that we recover that. So these challenges and all, no, we faced that. Even sometimes I remember I worked till 12 o'clock, um, just to fix that, just to meet that milestone. So milestones, it was very important for us to meet the milestone, because the subsequent the what was the problem is, if we miss the milestone, then there was something like penalty. So it was very important for us to meet the milestones and all.
Mm. And were there any times when you felt, I don't want to take this headache, too much of pressure, and should I move out? Was there any that kind of feelings, experience that you want to share about?
Because this was when I entered into aerospace. That was my, and Honeywell was my desire. My dream company. I actually started enjoying. Loving my work. When I faced one time only, I faced that sort of problem. But I'll tell you why. When, but apart from that, I never, because I used to enjoy my work. I never used to keep track of time. Frankly speaking, my actual work used to start at 7 o'clock. Before that, I used to help my managers, other team members, and all. So my actual work, 7 o'clock to 10 or 11, 12, I used to work. So I never used to keep track of time. I used to enjoy working not only in technical team. When I moved out of technical team to management team, there also I enjoyed like anything. I learned a lot of things. That was a very new thing, new for me, project management. But still, I enjoyed, learned there, and enjoy. So I was enjoying. That's why I never felt any time. But one time I felt is when I told my manager to give me promotion. That time I felt like people were getting promoted and I was not getting promoted. That time I told my manager and I felt, okay, what I'm doing. Even my friends and all were telling, okay, those are getting. So that time I felt
Okay.
that, okay,
So that was not due to work. So you loved the work. It was just
yes,
due to the other incidents and all.
yes,
Now, when you moved into as a project manager, right, that was a new role for you.
yes.
And in aerospace engineering and all of that, what was the first thing that you learned in project management in aerospace? And what was the that you felt was critical for you in that?
Yeah. So when I will come to this question, before that I just want to tell what was my thought process.
Okay.
So when I was in technical, I used to think what actually project manager or managers does. That thought I was having, but then I moved, and the first thing I learned there, I was zero in management. I was zero, though I was helping my leads and all. We were two-person. One was right hand, left hand for my manager in technical team. But when I moved there, that first thing what I learned is like. How do you, the big picture, the big picture, like whenever you do something. When I moved there, they told, okay, what is the ultimate output what you are going to get. That should be the mind, that should be there in the mind. So when I took one project there, it was for same, like in flight, people used to press the keys and then enter, but they gave me one project to turn that as a touch screen. So there was a new product, NPI. So I when they told me this, and I went on visualize that, okay, this will be the touch screen and the pages will come like in mobile phone when we swipe like these things. So the big picture, the first thing I learned when I moved to management was to get the big picture. Big picture, once we have the output, outcome clear, then it will be very easy for us to understand all those things. That was one first thing I learned. And there were a lot of challenges and all, but those were the second thing. Yeah, this was the first thing. What are the other questions? Sorry, I missed anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, the question was around that only. What was that critical thing? I think you answered both in one answer here. What is the critical thing and the first thing? So, I think understanding the big picture, as you said, was the
Yes.
first and the most critical thing for you.
Yeah.
But what inspired you? Like you were already enjoying the technical work there, and you were good at software development because you were doing it even without referring to any
Yeah.
code on Google and all of that, because you had come from a government organization, not having access to all of that. Now, what inspired you to move into project management?
Frankly speaking, I was introvert guy, very shy. Whatever manager used to give, I used to accept it, whether it is holiday or weekends. Anytime they call, I used to say yes to anything and everything. And I was like, people used to mock at me. I mean, make fun of me. Not all, few, one or two, but I never used to respond to that. I mean, sometimes I felt like, oh, I should go and talk to HR and all that sort of feeling I got, but I never talked. So I was doing my job there, but one day one incident happened that. We were in US, myself and my friend. We were in US, and that guy, I pointed to one of my lead. He was a team lead, and I said, I want to become like him. And this my friend told, you can never become like him. And at that moment, I felt, yes, maybe. I felt very sad, frankly speaking. I felt very sad. Then I realized, I started thinking that maybe, yes, because I'm not good at communication. I'm introvert guy. I cannot become like him. I got that feeling. But ultimately, no, like when I used to sit with him, I used to, uh, I used to tell my stories of back days. Then he used to create some more, add some more things, and he used to make fun of that. But because of that, I thought of, okay, let me, why I cannot become like him. I just got a thought like that, and I wanted to prove him that I can become like him. So that thought process started coming in, and when we came back to India, we both, then I started searching internally Honeywell, internal moves, internal transition. I told my manager that I'm looking for internal move, internal transition. Please relieve me from this project and all. He told, okay, what you are looking for? I was senior engineer that time, and I told I'm looking for a PE role, project engineer role. He told, from senior engineer to PE, no one will give you. Don't try that. Then I told, no problem, you just relieve me. I'm searching. If I get, well and good. And because he was a team lead, I wanted to be in a project engineer role. So I started searching, and fortunately, I got it. Interview happened. In interview, they told me to answer as a project manager. I told I have zero knowledge, but then they told, no, no, you answer me all the questions as a project manager, and then lot of questions. I answered only 50%, but I gave them assurance that yes, I can do it, and I'll show the results. And then they took me, and I moved that. So that was the transition. That what I did is, there where I came to know nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I was a person, I believed I can never do management. I can never do. That was the thought process in me, and that's why what I did is made my mind that I'll move into technical role. I took up this one MTech also in Honeywell. They allow us to go for higher studies and all in Honeywell itself. So I moved into technical role. MTech, I started doing that. But then when this came up, no, I wanted to show this result, and I showed that result. I moved to management. I got lot of awards, bronze, silver awards from program management, because I used to do a lot of proactive things. I used to tell my team to do proactive things. Lot of, because instead of doing at the end, after facing those challenges, why can't we do proactive and find out, do some cars and find out and do some improvements on those. So because of that, I got a lot of appreciation from program as well.
That's very powerful. Whatever you shared now, like the thing that you said, that anything is possible, right? And you had that low confidence, you had low self belief, but then you said, once somebody challenged you, you said, I can do it. And you went ahead and got it done. And you said 50% was what was the knowledge that you had acquired. Was it because you were already working with your manager? You said you were always helping your manager. So
Yes.
did that experience help you in terms of like cracking the project management interview, maybe?
Definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah. That helped me a lot, because a lot of questions what he asked me, how do you do planning and all. I was working as senior engineer. I don't know how to do plan and all. But when I was helping my manager, I learned how to do planning. Everything he used to dump. I mean, whatever, we were two person, one right hand and left hand for him. Any work used to come, he used to delegate to us, and there where I learned a lot of things: planning, estimation, uh, resources. What are how? I mean, he used to take care of resources, but he used to tell us to help guide those people, any problem, solve it. I mean, those are a lot of things I learned from him that helped me to crack that project engineer role. Yeah,
Great. I think knowingly, unknowingly, you were actually learning that already, and then you were like 50% prepared for that role.
yeah,
And I think here it's a lesson for others also who are watching us live or maybe watch later. A lot of corporate professionals, especially when I train them, they come to me and then they say, but sir, nobody is giving me that opportunity as a program manager, as a project manager, or as a people manager or technical manager. Thing is, what have you done from your side is the question you need to ask yourself. Were you already playing that role? Now, before any promotion, it's very important to you already start playing that role. You already start exhibiting those things in you, that you are able to do that you are able to handle the next level. And I think in your case, Shamsuza, when you are able to do that already, I think that made you get into that level easily.
yeah.
Now, one thing you were talking about, Shamsuza, was you were shy, right? And you were also talking about when you were talking about your previous life, your background and all, people used to make fun of you and all of that. So can you take us back into like what kind of background do you come from? Like, how was your schooling? Were you a great student? Did you study in the best schools? How was it, education and all of it?
Okay. I come from very poor family. My father was a driver. He's retired now. So when my father went for my admission, he was sent out from clerk only. Clerk used to say, no, no, there is no opening and all. So and it was a very good school. I mean, English medium school. It was very good school, but because my father was a driver, I was not getting admission. So what my father did is, in that school, playground was being made, and my father was doing all those this field works, making field, no, using bulldozer and all. He was doing this. So one day, what he did is, he didn't walk, and he was just lying down with his legs on steering. Principal came, and then he told, क्या हुआ मुस्तफा, काम नहीं कर रहा है? Then he told, क्या करें सर, बच्चों का एडमिशन नहीं हो रहा है. Then he told, क्यों नहीं होगा? Then he was a very good principal. it, then they called us, myself and my sister. We gave interview. I wrote everything from left to right, ABCD, right? No, sorry, right to left, because I was studying in Urdu medium school. So I wrote everything from right to left. And then he told, okay, everything, whatever he has written is wrong. He has written all opposite. So he asked me, whatever I wrote, he asked me, like apple spelling, I told, her, everything. Spelling wise, everything I told. Then he told, okay, okay, because of he come from this medium, Urdu medium, he has written. And my father told him, because he's coming from there. So that was my schooling starting. And then I started looking, I mean, gradually as I moved from 10 to 12 and all, I started looking my friends. I mean, there were all those friends were from officer background, and also I whatever they were doing, I was also following them. So I gave a lot of interviews for engineering college and all. Finally landed up in Karnataka. So that was schooling, and then I did a B. So it was not, I'm not from a very educated family, but from very poor family. But I, my dedication and all, willing to learn, not give up, made me to climb up the ladder. Not only here in the corporate as well. I got promotion in 2 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. I used to get promotion. So it is what you want, what we need to decide what exactly we want. Because I there when I was in school, I wanted to become engineer. That was there embedded in my mind. I wanted to become engineer. That was embedded. I don't know how. I was knowing my father will not be able to pay, but something happened and I was able to become engineer. So if we make that mind and put full 100% dedication, decide exactly what you want to do, and then set a goal, we will be able to achieve.
Very powerful and very inspiring as well. The kind of journey that you have coming from the Urdu medium school and then having got admission into English medium and still like struggling, and but you were able to like have that goal in life. And I think your burning desire, it is clearly visible when you talk. The burning desire to become that engineer, to become successful in career, become that project manager. I think that is what actually made you successful and get to a place wherever you are today as a program manager in a big company like Cisco. Honeywell, I think, is dream of many people. Cisco is also a dream of many people. Cisco was my dream company, which I took almost 8 years to reach there. But yeah, so I think you were able to make it big in your career and life. And there is one question we will take before we proceed, Shamsuza here. Niti is asking this question. Can you please guide with the opportunities for freshers in aerospace engineering? Because hardly getting any opportunities outside.
Okay, so I'll tell you my experience. It is very easy to get, but provided you follow some steps. See, I didn't get into Honeywell directly, right? Honeywell doesn't take freshers, experience only. So try to get experience from small companies. So there are a lot of small companies, like one I was working in Symmetric. So once you get into that, you know what salary they were paying? 3,000 rupees. When I entered there, first they told me you will get 3,000 rupees. Everyone in my family, my friends, everyone, they said, what will happen in 3,000 rupees? I didn't listen to anyone because I wanted to enter into that field. I know I once I enter into that field, I can grow. That was my mindset. So key is just find out what are the companies which work for other organizations, like Symmetric work for ADA, DARE, all the there were ADA, DARE, AD, lot of all the HAL, lot of organization. So once you get into that, get experience. Experience matters. Once you get the experience, then getting into other organization, bigger organization, it will be very easy. So find out that you will get to know there are a lot of small organization which depute you to work in a bigger organization, like government organization. Once you get that experience, that will help you to climb up the ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree with you because a lot of us directly look at that big jump, right? But you will have to have a big goal, but you will also have to decide the milestones. Now, these are the milestones, the small companies that you join, because you can't get into big companies immediately. Some may be able to get it, but some who are not able to make it, I think we have to think it very well, and then we have to work hard, because short term pain is equal to long term gain. Now many people don't do this. They keep trying for the big companies, they get rejections, and then that is where they stop. But as you rightly said, find opportunities in those small companies, even if it is like 3,000 per month. You will have to go for it. If that is your passion, if that's the industry where you want to get into, right, then go ahead and then start working in small companies. But you should clearly know that if this work, whatever you are going to do, is going to help you, like that becomes your milestone for the next goal, the bigger goal that you have. So I think that's great. Niti, I hope you have got the answer from Shamsuza, whatever the suggestion he has put there. Right. So good. And now coming back to your project engineering journey in aerospace industry. Right. So, as a project engineer, what were the challenges that you faced in the aerospace industry?
Yeah. So basically, as a project engineer, we are responsible for scope, schedule, cost. As a project engineer, we are the accountable person to manage the project on a whole and deliver it on time. But then some problems, like as you are asking for challenges, let me go directly to challenges. I'll talk about few. One challenge what I faced, see, as a project engineer, as a project manager, very important thing is to identify risk. If we identify risk upfront, the cycle will get ample amount of time to work on that mitigation plan and then get to that and get that delivered. But if we delay, if we are not able to identify the challenges or risk and all, as we delay, the rework will happen and a lot of other cost factors comes into picture. So one challenge what I faced is it was for display, uh, and it was for a display where pilot enters the flight plan and all. That is called as MCDU and all. So we were developing that. What problem happened is two resources. One is, so I was managing a team of 30, 15 members here in Bangalore and 15 in US, and I was a global lead. So one member here in Bangalore and one member there in US simultaneously left, and those two person were taking decision in team. It is very important to have a person who can take decisions in team, technical decisions. And now my PDR, so we have phase gate reviews. We have all the phase gate reviews, like phase 2A. It starts from phase 1 to phase 7. We have in the phase 3A where we do planning, and then phase 3 B, we have PDR, CDR, PDR, and all. So PDR is preliminary design review, and CDR is critical design review. So during PDR, it was around 4 months from now. Say suppose 4 months down the line, PDR was there, preliminary design review. Now we were developing that. Chief came up and said that, we said that okay, we are doing these things and all. Chief came up and said that okay, this is the thing, we need to have both the high level and low level requirement design. So what actually happens for PDR, we have high level requirement, and for CDR, critical design requirement, we have low level requirements done, all the 80% done, all the maximum requirement will be done by CDR. But here chief came, no, we want all the requirement to be done by PDR. And there was a reason for that, because when we were in a platforms team, hardware things and all, when hardware comes into picture, there were a lot of challenge, because once hardware any problem comes up to a register, capacitor and all, you never know where this goes. The debugging takes a lot of time. We were not having good tools. We used to get tools from AMD, Intel, so their tools, third party tools we used to use. So the problem, what based on our experience from other projects and our chief said, no, we don't want to go to the CDR to complete the requirements, we want the requirement to be done by PDR. And there the challenges came up. Requirement were lot of requirements, or more than 1,000 requirements were there. We were having very few people, and that too, the design decision. See, if the design becomes perfect, the rest of the things will be fine. But when the design is not correct, take example of building. If the foundation is not correct, not good, it will fall down. So same thing. So design, no one was there to take design decisions, and there were only 4 months to complete that period. Now I projected a risk 4 months before. I projected a risk. There is a risk we are going to miss this milestone, and I need a resource who can take decision in the team. I didn't get a response for next 1 month. I escalated it again. So see, basically, project engineer or project manager works two ways: either by escalation or by influence. So my influence was gone. Though I was having one influence, I got one more technical manager to get it done. But I escalated it 4 months before. I escalated. After that 1 month again, I escalated. I didn't get a resource, proper resource. They used to give me resource who used to work 50%, 20%. That was not helping me. So I told them, no, no, this is not going to happen. When 2 months was left out, what I did is I pulled in all the tier 4 managers, tier 3 managers, business leads, all 15, 20 big people who were in the tier 3 leaders and all. Every day 7 o'clock I used to call for a meeting. I changed my MOS, totally MOS changed. Brought in everyone, because in aerospace industry, if we miss a milestone, there is a penalty, and it is not in thousands, millions penalty. So I don't want to miss this milestone. I called everyone, all the directors, tier 4 managers, tier 3 managers, business leads. I said, these are the design decisions. These many design decisions are there pending. We are not progressing. This is lagging. SPI is lagging. SPI is scheduled performance index. Started lagging. Every day I used to tell 40 requirements lagging, 40 rework pending, and closure pending. I built a burn down chart. And then every day when I started telling them this is lagging, I want a resource. And I wanted two resources, one in India and one in US. I didn't get a resource. With my influence, I got one resource in US, and he was a staff engineer. He started helping. Then we started recovering, but then again he was pulled into some other resource. So these challenges came in, and then when I started bringing in all the directors and all, I got help. So this is what, if we don't get the things done, we have to escalate, get the things done. So
Right.
I did the things, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
finally, I was able to meet that milestone, yeah.
oh, great. That's great. And so here, I think two important elements you spoke about. One is like communicating, right? Escalating at the right time, and then
Yes.
communicating with people, and also networking. Now you are able to bring a lot of directors. You're able to bring the tier two managers, tier three managers, and all of that. Now, how important is, as per you, after that experience, how important is for a project manager to have an influence and have a network that is built so that people are there available for building their project at the right time?
It is very important. It's very important, and I was fortunate to get that staff engineer. He was technical manager at that time, and I was project engineer, senior project engineer. Every evening, 7 o'clock to 8, 9 o'clock, we used to discuss. I mean, because he was my counterpart, not my counterpart. He was into technical team, because I used to get status from US technical manager, India technical manager, engineering manager. So those were the team, my team, where I used to get inputs and all. So I used to interact with him, and it is very important to be make a rapport or this networking with those people high level who can help you when you are in need. I was in need. When I told him, he came and helped. I was asking other people, but at the same time, I was trying to find out, okay, from my influence, how I can get other resources to get this done. So one more thing I want to talk about. This is about networking. Get that, be in that networking where you can get the things done or get the resources whenever required. That is one thing. The other thing is, see, as a project engineer or project manager, when the things goes outside beyond your boundary. So my boundary was to get the things done by that. I escalated it. But when it goes beyond, no, the lot of other, because a lot of other managers, higher level managers comes into picture, a lot of other things happens, deep dive, why it delayed, lot of meetings and all. But make a point, use all the levers available with you. For me, the levers and all, to get the resource on time and all, use all the levers, try to see within your reach or within your boundary if you are able to make it happen. Otherwise, it is all the, because every day, think of every day calling meeting within all the around 15, 16 high level leaders and all. I was eating up their time, right? So it was needed that time. But my point is, try to see what you can do best from your side to get it done within your boundary reach. Once it goes beyond your reach or boundary, there are a lot of deep dives or a lot of meetings and all, and a lot of other people. It goes to like the project become red. When project become red and all, it get escalated to tier 2 leaders and all. Yeah. So
Yeah.
networking is important to get the things done on time. Yeah.
Great. And like in the project manager, like as a project manager or a project engineer, like where do you spend most of the time? Is it planning? Is it like reviews, like bringing people all the time into meetings? Or is it like any other stage or any other thing that you spend a lot of time as a project engineer?
It is very important, very very important to spend more time during planning. See, plan will not become 100% perfect, but it should go to closer to perfect. Okay, at least 80-90% should be. So we spend more time during planning. We define the work scope based on the requirement, and then establish the work breakdown structure to capture the whole scope. Then establish project schedule to encompass the scope defined and all, and then prepare the resource plan, staffing plan, establish the funding plan. And then after doing all these things, and then we also used to have this performance and earned value tracking systems. Typically what I used to do is like have the, I mean, I have a template. I developed a template, and also with which I used to automate, like whatever I used to do, highlight, lowlight. Weekly, we used to present the highlight, lowlight to my leadership and all. And then the earned value metrics like SPI, CPI, SPI, schedule performance index, and the cost performance index and all. Milestone fidelity, how we are progressing on the milestone and all. So, and the cost expenditure like ITD, ETC, ESC, VSC, resource staffing, filtered, lot of. So very important thing is we spend more time during planning. So once we have this planning, right, next thing is how to execute these things. Yeah. So most of the time I spend in planning.
And you have been talking a lot about automation, right? And
Yeah.
that is also one area of your interest. How do you see automation can change now, especially in the aerospace industry? How can it change the shape of the work that is being done? And like from the impact on people, because whenever things are getting automated, people will be moved out. So what do you see the scope of people here in the automation, like in the aerospace industry? Will there be more jobs as per you, or will there be like less jobs, and how people can get into this?
Yeah. So thing is that automation will happen, whether it is technical, management, automation happen. I have done automation in technical. I'm doing automation here in Cisco as well. A lot of automation I've done in project management. Now I just sit, I see people are updating or not. I go and see in the dashboard, I see how we are progressing. So I have done automation, it will happen. Now coming to how it will impact. Okay. So how it will impact, see, if you develop the skill, core skill. Now first of all, the core skill is how do we manage the team, how we, all the management skills, all the KPIs and all. So all, so once you know those things, it is very important how do you automate it. And we need not worry about if you automate what will happen. See, we need to learn now. Excel was the thing which people, all the project manager, even when we enter into the organization, people are supposed to learn Excel thing. So people, Excel was there. Now Excel is gone. I mean, it is there, but other tools have come in. There are other things. Smart sheet is there, a lot of things. So what I'm trying to say is, tools will come. We need to learn those tools. Like now AI is coming, we should learn those vital skills now. Data science, learn those things, implement that in depth. So nothing, you learn those things, implement it. Don't worry about like what will happen after automation. No man, there will be other opportunities. Once this happen, other things will come up. So learn those vital skills that will help you to grow.
Great. Thank you, Shamsuza. It has been a wonderful discussion. But before we end this particular discussion, do you have any last piece of advice for people here?
Yeah, one thing I'll tell you, my friends, see, whatever you want to be tomorrow, start doing today. See, tomorrow is, visualize tomorrow. That is good. That will give you motivation. That is your dream. That will, yeah, motivate you. But value today. Start doing that. What you want to be tomorrow. If you not start doing today, start. If you don't take that action today, when you will reach? If you have to change something to become something. So start that change today. Take action today. You will definitely reach to that where you want to be. Set a goal and strive to achieve that. You will definitely get those things. Yeah.
Very powerful advice at the end, Shamsuza. Like, start doing today. Start not just visualizing, but also start taking actions for wherever you want to reach. Set up that big goal and start working towards it. Thank you, Shamsuza. It has been a wonderful conversation here, helping us and the audience understand about how people work in the aerospace industry, software engineering, project management, giving those lot of insights on this particular domain. So thank you for that, and thank you everyone for staying tuned, watching us live, and also for people who are going to watch us later. Thank you everybody, especially Niti for asking that wonderful question, and Maulik and Tyagvir ji for being here and watching us, and then appreciating whatever Shamsuza has been talking. So thanks everyone. Thank you, Shamsuza, once again for being here. And yes, people who are watching us, stay tuned for the next episodes because we are going to bring more industry experts so that they can help through their experiences, their learnings, their failures and success, which will help you to build your dream career.
Thank you.
Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you.